Before you begin making the biscuits, preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Preheating the oven will allow it to heat up while you are working. Begin preparing the biscuits by sifting the flour with the salt and baking powder over a mixing bowl. Sifting will mix the ingredients together and break up any clumps in the flour. The flour contains proteins that will create the gluten matrix and starch that will gelatinize during baking. The gluten matrix and gelatinized starch provide the structure that will trap steam and carbon dioxide during baking. The salt is added to the biscuits for flavor, and the baking powder produces carbon dioxide for leavening. Next, add the shortening to the mixing bowl and cut it into the dry ingredients with a pastry blender. Cutting in the shortening breaks it up into smaller pieces. During this process, the shortening coats some of the flour. The flour that has been coated is waterproofed and won't form gluten. Preventing some of the gluten structure from forming will result in a more tender biscuit. Continue cutting in the shortening until it is broken up into pieces about the size of large peas. The solid pieces of shortening will melt during baking, leaving open spaces that will fill with steam to form flakes. After cutting in the shortening, add the milk all at once and stir quickly until all of the dry ingredients are damp. The milk will dissolve the salt and the baking soda and hydrate the flour proteins that have not been waterproofed by the fat. Hydrating the flour allows the formation of the gluten structure, which enables the flour to form dough. The milk is also changed to steam during baking, which helps leaven the biscuits. Protein and sugar in the milk participate in the Maillard reaction during baking. Once the dry ingredients have all been dampened, continue stirring the dough for about 10 seconds. Then lightly flour a wooden board to prevent the dough from sticking during kneading. You only need about a half a teaspoon of flour. Gently roll the dough on the wooden board until it's coated with a thin film of flour to prevent it from sticking to your hands while kneading. You should form the dough into a ball while rolling it in the flour to make it easier to knead. Knead the biscuit dough by rolling it around on the board lightly with one hand. Kneading the dough develops the gluten structure. You should only knead the dough for about 30 strokes in about 20 seconds. Any more may result in too much gluten formation. The more gluten that develops, the tougher the biscuits will be. Once you have finished kneading, use a rolling pin and the 1/2 inch rolling guides to roll out the dough. All of the biscuit dough should be rolled out to the same thickness so we can compare the heights of the baked biscuits among the various treatments. Next, dip a 2-inch biscuit cutter in flour to prevent the dough from sticking to it, and then cut 3 biscuits from the rolled out dough. Place the cut biscuits on an ungreased baking sheet. And bake them for 12 to 15 minutes or until the biscuits are an even golden brown color on the top and bottom. Immediately remove the biscuits from the baking sheet and place them on a rack to cool.